Well, the Provincial House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders has also slammed the decision to close the bank, which it says serves thousands of citizens in the province. We've got a businessman, Xolani Khumalo, who joins us to talk about how recent developments are affecting him and others. Xolani, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us and joining us here on Newsfeed PM. Talk to me firstly about the business that you're operating and also how you have then been making use of the services of Ithala.
Thank you very much for this opportunity tonight, Naledi, with your listeners. Basically, what we do services in terms of pest control and hygiene service. We also do construction as well. So basically what we have experienced with Ithala is that we can't get payments from departments, and this going back as from December, because there were departments that we do business with that had alerted us that we need to change our business accounts if we are banking with Ithala, because they can't seem to be able to put money in those accounts because it seems to have a problem. I think it was from December, yes, it was December payments that we were told from departments themselves.
Can we go back to the beginning, if you'll allow me, Xolani? When you, set up your bank account, why you chose Ithala Bank? I'm curious.
Okay. Basically, I chose Ithala Bank. It was a decision that I had taken because I've been banking with them since if I'm not mistaken, since 2017, yes. The reason why basically I took the decision to do that is because Ithala Bank, it's a KZN-based bank, one. Two, it has very little interest in terms of monthly charges and all of that, but also the major pull factor was more of the funding that they allow KZN-based projects to be given. So even if you're a contractor coming from Gauteng, but if you're doing any project in KZN, they're willing to fund that project going forward. So it was a no-brainer for myself and I think other business people in KZN to take that conscious decision of opening an Ithala Bank.
Yeah, of course, one of the big questions is if you have continually used the services of Ithala, and it's interesting that we keep saying bank because official statements that Ithala never really did have, I suppose the documentation in place for it to be deemed a bank, but that's another question altogether. But where you have been transacting with the bank, are you concerned that you may have some of your own resources still very much embedded in there and concerned about what you'll be able to get out?
Fortunately, because of what we had surmised prior in December to quickly change our accounts, and we were told actually by department that we need to move our accounts from Ithala to other banking services because they're having a problem. So fortunately, I had moved my money into other accounts, other banks, your more commercial banks out there. So it just created an unnecessary problem for most people doing business in KZN, let alone the ones that are banking on a full-time basis in rural areas. Because I think most, I'm just trying to think, the food nutrition guys, I know for a fact because there was some time ago when I had an account with Ithala, we did food nutrition. So Ithala would fund us for a period of, let's say, for 3 months, and then we would pay sort of a 3% interest on whatever amount that they had given us. So that was, for me, comparing with all the other major banks that are out there, that was the best rate out there. Even when at that time, I think the interest rate was about 7% or just below that. So Ithala was paying 3% at that time. And we're speaking about 2017. So for us, that was a major boost. So this happening is a major blow, not only for myself, I think for most people that are in business, actually also even venturing into other forms of other businesses, because Ithala funds even franchises, even businesses that you're going to start from scratch. They don't have the red tapes that normally these big commercial banks and even your so-called I'm not sure. It's just that I don't want to mention names, but
Yeah.
it's those programs that government has come up with, those funding programs that are supposed to be helping Black businesses, which they don't because they have so many red tapes in terms of collateral. They want 24 to 36 months financials. They want bank statements. And remember, we're coming from a period of COVID. So a lot of people don't meet 90% of those requirements. So Ithala does not put you through all of that. It gives you a platform for you to not bring all of that heavy paperwork, and then they process everything for you seamlessly. And people are very loyal to Ithala because we have this thing of we need to keep this bank going. So even if they fund you, you make sure that you repay them so that it also helps another disaffected contractor that needs funding from which they're not going to get at other banks, but Ithala grants you that.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, you've got the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders saying that they're going to protest the action certainly taken by the Reserve Bank's Prudential Authority. I mean, what's the ideal outcome here for you, for the sake of the businesses that you've talked about in vulnerable communities?
I think the ideal outcome would be government's intervention to stop the liquidation, because I would understand if they're saying Ithala is getting liquidated on the basis of they're not a liquid company, they're not making money. But that's not what's happening. They're being liquidated on the basis of a license that they had applied for, I think around about 2016. That was something that even our MEC of Economic Development in KZN also said that the license had been applied for since 2016. So it's not about Ithala not being able to sustain itself. It's more of, I don't know, maybe some big banks colluding against it, because it has been such a mainstay of KZN's businesses. And if you were to do some research, you would discover that most of these business hubs that are out there for people that do these businesses that keep them running every day, you discover those buildings, those storage rooms everywhere. You go to Mlazi, you discover that. You go to Newcastle, you discover all of these business hubs that Ithala has made for people. Even when people are falling at hard times, failing to pay rent, Ithala is not the first one to say, I'm evicting you out and all of that. So it's something that I could just basically say that if government does not intervene in this, not only will it affect your beneficiaries that are card holders and all of that, but it would affect even your normal person that sells clothes, that sews at that business hub and all of that, and people that have farming businesses and all of that.
Yeah, very interesting. Xolani, an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and we hope that perhaps you continue to interact with us as well on this matter. Xolani Khumalo, they are a businessman, speaking to us. This is as Ithala Bank customers continue to seek answers as the liquidation looms for Ithala SOC Limited.